It's pretty common knowledge by now that an unbiased list of strongest Digimon is hard, if not impossible, to make. The main boss from one storyline can become just a henchman in another story in just one media, so you can imagine what happens when you take in consideration all the other media that the Digimon franchise uses to tell a story. It becomes impossible to compare them. So, when I was considering doing a video about the strongest Digimon, or should I say a tribute to the powerhouses in Digimon, I thought it would be more fun and accurate to make a list together with other fans, where we all decide together who we liked best, or who left the impression on being the strongest Digimon on us. Not having a complete official list has its pros and cons, because those who prefer things in black and white will never learn who are actually the strongest Digimon, while on the other hand, the way the franchise progresses brings with it constant surprises and plot armor, and anything can happen during a battle. On November the 1st, I released a video where I invited you to voice your opinion in the comments and vote for who you think is the strongest Digimon. The voting lasted 1 month. This video combines all universes we have seen so far, and out of 92 Digimon you named in the comments, here are the ones who got the most votes. Number 10. Omegamon. It seems like soon we won't be able to count all Omegamon variants using only fingers on our hands. Still, the first and original Omegamon remains the favorite one among fans. Omegamon is a symbiosis of War Greymon and Metal Garurumon, combining both their appearance, power and attacks. His War Greymon shaped arm is used for fire-based attacks, while his Metal Garurumon shaped arm is used for ice attacks. Omegamon almost always appears during the final moments of final battles by receiving another variant or an extreme upgrade. Lately, Digimon creators have been pushing Omegamon more and more to the top by giving this Digimon cool animations, overpowered skills or helpful passive skills. Omegamon's most notable fight remains the very first one in our war game against Diablomon, while other good ones include against Alphamon and Eosmon. Sorry 2020 reboot, while the Omegamon fight was entertaining, it won't live in our memory as a one-of-a-kind event like some decades-old fights still do. Number 9. Patmon. Every time you hear that an upcoming episode in the anime features a Patmon evolution, you know that the scene is going to be packed with awesome animation and great storyline. The enemy is either going to be destroyed, or you will get a super awesome evolution sequence and fight, or all of that combined. Whether it's the confrontation between Angemon and Davimon, or when Holy Angemon opens up a gate to another dimension to suck in Piamon, Patmon's evolution scenes are almost always important and iconic. Patmon's angelic ultimate form is the highest ranking angel among the 3 great archangels, while his dragon ultimate form is one of the 4 great dragons, who even fought a fist battle against Millenniummon and Zed Millenniummon. Without playing favorites, it is stated multiple times that Patmon is a special Digimon. Not only does he possess holy power without wearing a holy ring, but he has also inherited the genes of ancient Digimon. Number 8. Impmon from Tamers. One of the things people love about Digimon is that from the very start, the writers did not shy away from giving the Digimon and human characters a more complex storyline and great character development. Number 8 on this list is Impmon, but not just any Impmon, but the Impmon from the 3rd season of Digimon. Impmon was that one character that was hiding under a mask of a bully while believing he was meant to be great, going against Digimon 2 times his evolution level. The amount of mental strength he possessed allowed him to keep fighting even when the situation was not looking good, and later evolve into a Digimon whose variant is a member of the Demon Lords. While his emotional strength stayed the same during the entire series, his physical strength evolved together with him, and he fought multiple enemies at once, destroying a member of the Deva with just one hand, killing Gaiamon, having a one-on-one fight with Dukemon, and in the end, after having his wish to have a tamer care for him come true, he joined the battle against the D-Reaper. Number 7. Jasmon GX. Jasmon is a member of the Royal Knights. He is the youngest member, but nonetheless possesses a lot of power and weapons all over his body. He is a great example of how a student can succeed his teacher, with his Fist Destroyer attack being more powerful than Gankomon's secret technique. Jasmon has an X antibody form, but also a form called Jasmon GX, who according to some theories should not exist judging by his power level. Jasmon GX has both defensive and offensive powers that switches between his modes depending on the situation. When the digital world was under threat of falling into crisis caused by Ogdemon X antibody, Shoutmon X gave away all his X antibody power to Jasmon X, helping him evolve into Jasmon GX. Later, the Royal Knights gave all their remaining power to Jasmon GX, which enabled him to destroy Ogdemon X with Knight's Intruder and defeat the 7 Great Demon Lords' evil plan. Number 6. Susanomon. Digimon Frontier might have had some questionable character development, forcing 2 characters in the foreground while leaving the rest in the back room. Still, the anticipation of the main boss was quite mysterious and left us questioning what would happen once he gets freed. After losing many battles against Luchamon's minions, Dynasmon and Lord Nightmon, the legendary spirits finally united to give us what felt like one of the strongest Digimon to date, Susanomon. The first 3 seasons of Digimon had countless evolutions, legendary to this day, but Susanomon was a fusion of 10 legendary warriors, giving him a lot of power and prestige. Susanomon holds the Zero Arms Orochi, with which he can cut through anything. With the titles The Strongest Destructive God and the God which governs over regeneration, he was able to defeat Luchamon, the strongest Demon Lord Digimon, just as he was about to destroy everything, thus saving both human and digital worlds. Number 5 is a dirty surprise, Nummon. While some of you probably voted for this Digimon as a joke, and Nummon indeed do poop a lot, that's not the only thing they are good at. You can love them or hate them, you can laugh or be disgusted by them, but chances you haven't heard of them or haven't used them in a game are less likely. Nummon are also known as poop Digimon. While it is stated that a Digimon becomes a Nummon if mistakes are made in raising it, it's clear that Nummon have a disadvantage and an unfair existence in the digital world. That being said, their performance in the Digimon games is obviously undeniable, since they will appear whether you like it or not, and in some cases they will carry you through the game and give you extra experience. Number 4. Ogdemon X. Each of the 7 Demon Lords is freakishly powerful. Now, what happens when 2 of them, or even all of them, fuse together? Ogdemon is born. Each of the 7 Demon Lords stands for a sin from the 7 deadly sins, and Ogdemon holds all the digital world's sins and is able to atone for all of them. What if a Digimon like this gets an X antibody variant? His destructive impulses are amplified further by the X antibody, and the power oozing out of it is capable of causing the digital world to collapse just by merely existing. He is able to produce a shock wave from his mouth, and his many legs and fire beams can annihilate the opponent. Number 3. Zed Millennium. Zed Millennium is a Digimon that gets mentioned a lot when talking about the strongest Digimon, and he was released back when Digimon had only one anime and not much backstory, but what made fans love this Digimon is that it came from a famous villain from Adventure, Mugindramon, fused with Chimeramon. Mugindramon could stand his ground back then, and there was no question about it, but once he evolved into Millenniummon, he gained time travel and distortion powers, which made him pretty hard to defeat. If Millenniummon is defeated in battle, his dark soul is reborn as Zed Millenniummon. His true size in Adventure 2020 is shown when Goddramon and Holydramon, who are depicted as enormous dragons, became just tiny dots compared to Zed Millenniummon. Even though he is enormous, his true power lies in his ability to condemn hostile opponents to oblivion across space and time, and no one who receives this technique can return alive. He can also send his opponents to a dimension where time is compressed, or use his fire atomic rays to destroy everything in their path. In the Adventure reboot, Zed Millenniummon was the first big villain for whom all the villains up to this point were working for. Zed Millenniummon was leading an ancient battle between good and evil, and he was shown without the bands around his body, which are put there to suppress his powers. Even though the dark side itself was not able to control him, he was destroyed in a battle with the chosen 8 Digimon. The first big appearance of Zed Millenniummon, without counting the flashback in early Adventure 02, lasted for only a couple of minutes in the Adventure reboot. What seemed like easy defeat in the reboot shouldn't be the true measurement of his power. Zed Millenniummon was followed by many Digimon with various evolution stages, waiting for his arrival, in some cases even worshipping him like a true god. Number 2. Shoutmon Cross 7 Superior Mode. Cross Wars is maybe one of the fans' least favorite Digimon seasons, but it's clearly one that introduced the largest number of Digimon, where even a few could be stated to be the top tier Digimon, Bagramon, Quartzmon, and of course the huge number of Shoutmon fusions. In this season, Cross 7 Superior Mode becomes a powerhouse by fusing every Digimon alive in the digital world to the point that people are speculating how many Digimon are actually fused in Cross 7. This was an incredible boost for Shoutmon in terms of power and size, which enabled him to destroy Darkness Bagramon, known as the greatest Emperor of Evil, and Ultimate Chaosmon, against whom a lower level Digimon stand no chance against. Both these Digimon are capable of doing extreme things with their level of power. Shoutmon Cross 7 can reset the data of his opponent while forcibly reverting them into a Digi-Egg. Before naming number 1, I have to share some honorable mentions from fans' votes. Holy Angemon, the Archangel of the digital world, who has both a priest and battle form, with many different offensive and defensive powers, which can serve both as a portal for another dimension and an attack of light, including healing abilities. Holy Angemon in 02 was one of the rare Digimon who was able to maintain an even fight with Black War Greymon. He is also the wielder of the Holy Sword Excalibur. Luchamon X, the perfect creation that possesses extraordinary power but also intellect and is rumored to have transcended even God as an incarnation of destruction and creation. Renamon, the child-level Digimon that doesn't look like usual child-level Digimon, who possesses a lot of magical power and once reaches the ultimate form, acts as an agent of God's will. Renamon possesses high intelligence, which is used in battle to better understand the battlefield, but also has a lot of other magical powers and excellent speed. Seraphimon, the highest ranked being among Angel Digimon, he rules over all of them. He has the power to purify everything, but is also a huge force of power, as his attack Testament can cause a big bang. Grace Novamon, a fusion of Apollomon and Dianamon of the Olympus 12, formed Big Bang class energy within his body, and because of this it has been predicted that Grace Novamon has become a standalone galaxy and it is impossible to measure his total data size accurately. Omegamon X. While Omegamon is powerful enough to hold his ground, Omegamon with the X antibody acquired the Omega In Force, an ultimate force which, in battle, is able to instantaneously read ahead and respond accordingly. By using his attack All Delete, anything that comes in contact with the Grey Sword is not cut but erased. Number 1. Gaiamon. First things first, there are two Gaiamon in the Digimon universe. Gaiamon as an Appmon is a completely different species, but still a part of the Digimon franchise. Gaiamon Appmon is not exactly weak, but it doesn't even come close to the Digimon Gaiamon. It is a bit weird to cover this Digimon, because there is no footage of it that I can show you, not even a single picture. A lot of you informed fans know the reason for this, but for you who don't, let's just say that the very existence of this Digimon would destroy everything and bring extinction to every living thing. Take it like this: if a comet was to suddenly appear and hit planet Earth, you would never be able to watch it destroy the planet because you would already be dead. I was wondering, should this Digimon even be considered for the list, for two reasons. Number 1, Gaiamon never appeared, so technically it doesn't exist, and the amount of information about it is close to zero. And number 2, if Gaiamon really comes to be with his extraordinary unlimited power and destroys everything, then who is he competing against? Since many Digimon prophecies came to be, maybe one day Gaiamon might appear. In Digimon World 3, Ragnammon had a plan to merge with planet Earth and become Gaiamon. This would of course result in the extinction of the human race and the creation of an unimaginably powerful being. However, he was stopped before he could carry out this plan. If you would like to see the full list with number of votes, you can find it on my Patreon page. If you liked this video, you can also support me there. The link is in the description below. Thank you for watching, stay tuned for more Digimon videos, and make sure to follow my community page on YouTube, as I also post updates about upcoming videos there.